All right, so I'm going to start recording the session so all of us can see it afterwards. Welcome everyone. Um, Today is going to be the second presentation of a series of 4 presentations. The first one was delivered last week. It was me, my colleague Guido Smalhange, and Tutila were also here in the session. We talked about peer review, and we had the presence of Marcos Ferrasso. It was really interesting. We could exchange some experiences, and he was sharing some of his experiences with journals, with the cover letter, with the peer review process. Hopefully today we'll do the same regarding articles structure. That is the second presentation. Next week, we will be talking about why some articles are rejected, and then we kind of finish the series. There is a fourth presentation, but that presentation is based more on books and teaching cases. Okay, so if you want to publish a book with Emerald, you can attend this session. It will be very interesting, as some books that we publish are also indexed. Many of them are indexed in Scopus. And we'll be talking about teaching cases as well, which is something that's becoming more and more popular in Latin America. Many business schools are using the teaching case, the case method, to teach at their business schools. We have been publishing many cases from Latin America, from the Caribbean, from emerging economies above all, and they are really interesting. As a matter of fact, many developed economies are actually using those cases of developing economies. So the world is actually using those cases. If you want to publish a teaching case with us, you're very welcome. Okay, so it's 2:05. I'm going to start the presentation. Welcome everyone. So today we are going to talk about the article structure, and after this, my colleague Guido will be talking about the platform and showing us some examples of how that works. My name is Andre Jun. I am Brazilian. I am based in São Paulo, and it will be a pleasure to be with you all this afternoon. Okay, so this is the agenda for today. It's going to be a small knowledge pill for the ones that already know our webinars that we deliver in Brazil. You know that we tend to talk for 30, 40 minutes, and then we open for questions. So it's not meant to be too large. The presentation is to be actually very short. We are going to talk just about one point, which is the article structure. I'll be showing you guys our structure abstracts, then I'll be showing some tips about quality writing and some links for you all, okay? So as we did last week about peer review, I want to show you today as well this image of this paper that was commented, reviewed. As you can see, there are many comments here, and those presentations are based on how to avoid that. We want to be desk accepted and be passed to the peer review process. We don't want to be desk rejected, which means being rejected by the editor-in-chief. So if we look at the right-hand side here, it says the thing you do not want to do is irritate the reviewer, such that they form a poor opinion of your paper. So when it comes to publishing an article, we need to keep this in mind, that we do not want to irritate our peers. We want to make them happy by having a very nice article, very well written, and we are going to see a little bit about this today. Also, the authors keep saying here that Mahit notes that bad writing often goes hand in hand with murky thinking. Murky thinking is a thinking that's not clear. So you try to read the text, but you don't really get it because it's not clear, it's murky. So the idea here is to have a clear writing. So you are forced to clarify your understanding. And some of the examples we are going to see today, hopefully, will help us to have a more structured text, a structured article, and hopefully this will help us to be more successful. Okay, so this is one of the most important slides for today about structure. I took this from an Emerald article. It's an article about articles. If you go on emerald.com and you try to search for tips, you find many. So what does it say? It says in the penultimate discussion section, findings for each research issue or hypothesis are linked to the literature, thus identifying and emphasizing contributions to the field, right? So in the find sessions, everything we find should be linked to the literature. They keep saying that conclusions and implications are different, right? I am not sure how this works in your case, in your country, but in Brazil, where I am based, it's never really clear for us in general what are the differences between conclusions and implications. We tend to mix everything all together. But the authors explain that to us here. They say that conclusions arise directly from the findings, whereas implications are just speculations arising indirectly from the findings, right? In the article, consider implications for theory and implications for policy and practice. If you check Emerald's articles, you will always see that they ask you for possible implications for the policies, for practice, social implications as well, okay? I think this is very relevant for all of us, especially in Latin America, in the Caribbean. But talking about Brazil, we tend to mix everything all together. But when it comes to publish internationally, you really need to structure your article very well so the reviewers can understand each part of it, and then we do not irritate them, as I was saying before. I know this can be a little bit confusing, but hopefully it will get clear in the next slide, which is an example trying to make this concept clear. So a few years ago, I was in Rio, and there was this section about publishing in international journals. And there was this professor from the United States, and he made a comparison between international articles and articles from Brazil. And what he said was international articles had, or they looked like a guitar. So they started with the title, abstract, keywords, and then there would be the literature review, which would be this part of the guitar. Then after that, there would be the result or the results, the findings. And then at the bottom, there would be some discussions, possible implications for the theory, practical implications, social implications, etc. While articles from Brazil looked much more like a glass of water or a glass of wine. So in Brazil, we would put the title, abstract, literature review, and then many results, interesting results, but with nearly no discussion. So the point he was raising was, even though we tended to find interesting, and many times many results we didn't discuss about them. And also he was saying that we tended to mix everything all together, the results with the conclusions and the implications. So what he was trying to tell us was try to make this more structured, more organized, right? I know that many of you will think, Andre, okay, but how should I know that? As I was saying last week when we talked about peer review, that will depend on your own article, of course, but that will depend on the journal where you want to publish. So one of the very basic recommendations is get access to your journal. Please do read at least one issue and then try to publish that, right? Nowadays, many researchers worldwide are being pressured to publish in international journals, but many times we forget that before publishing in those journals, we need to know them well, right? And by that, I mean, get to know the authors that publish there, get to know the references, and who else is publishing in those journals. I can also share one case from Emerald. A few years ago, Brazil submitted more articles to journals in public management, but from that number of submissions, nearly zero papers were published. So I was talking to my colleague in the UK, and what she said was one of the reasons for the rejection is that all those articles from Brazil were citing just references from Brazil. Obviously, that there is good research in Brazil, there's good research in every world, in every country, but those articles that are published internationally cite scholars from all over the world, not just Brazil, but also from the Caribbean, the rest of Latin America, Europe, North America, etc., etc. So if we want to publish internationally in a good journal, one of the ways of showing to the editor-in-chief that I know who's being published internationally is by citing the ones that are being published, right? So moving on a little bit onto slide 6, I wanted to give you all an example of how to structure, and I think our structure abstract is a good example. So when someone asks me, how does the abstract look like? I always think of this black box, because that's normally how an abstract looks like. But if you look on emerald.com, you see that it looks a little bit different. So on the left-hand side, you have a traditional abstract, but on the right-hand side, you see Emerald structure abstract. So you can read part by part, purpose, design, findings, research limitations, practical implications, originality, and value. I had a professor in Australia who said that if you want to read an article, you should always start by purpose, originality, and then the method. That's his method, if you like. Obviously, that each one of us will have our own method, but that was the way he thought is the best way to read an article. So after reading this, the three of them here, purpose, methodology, and value, you would decide to read the full paper or not, right? So this is really helpful. So this is how a structure abstract looks like if you are accessing any article in emerald.com. So at the very bottom here, you consider the keywords and the paper type. In this case, this is just a general review, okay? if you want to publish with us and you are on the submission platform, you will find 7 steps. And the very first step is just the abstract, the structure abstract. So we will see some questions like this. The first one is purpose. So you need to explain why you are writing this article. So you could say this article is blah, blah, blah. The second question is about the method, the design, how you did this. The third one is about the results, the findings, and so on. So what I found is that many people use this method, the structure abstract, to actually write their own abstract. So if you want to publish with us, it would be very easy. You just need to go online here, create your profile on the submission platform, and then start to answer the questions. And by that, you'll be writing your own abstract. Moving on to slide 12, I have written here some questions to make it easier for you. So the first one, as we said, was purpose of this paper. What are the aims of the research? So just answer the question and then you write your own abstract. If you want more information about this, you can try to download this Word document. It's on the presentation. You just need to click on this arrow at the left bottom side of this presentation, and you can download the full presentation, and then you just click on this image and you'll be able to download the document about how to structure your abstract. And hopefully this will be very helpful for you to use throughout your article as well. Moving on to quality writing, I wanted to share with you all one example of how to structure your own text. So what we have here is a list of some expressions in English. As a rule, for the most part, generally, you could use them to start phrase, an idea, and this is what we are going to see in the next slide. So on slide 16, we have this text from an article that was published in Emerald, and it says that contracts have tended to reinforce the position of large community organizations and diminish the position of smaller organizations. We are not going to look into the research aspect, but more of the grammar aspect of this text. So highlighted here in bold, we have this expression have tended to, which introduces an idea of contracts. But next to it, we have an example. So for example, Ernst Young study of the New Zealand Community Funding Agency, blah, blah, blah. What do we want to show here? That if you introduce an idea, you need to close it, right? So just don't leave it open. So this is quality writing in terms of to have a text that is that makes sense. Because we are attending so many people from Latin America, in Spanish, the expression is no dejar los cabos sueltos. In Portuguese is ter texto com coesão e coerência, all right? So it's much more about the grammar structure and quality writing than research itself, okay? So it's much easier for the review to understand your point, what you are trying to build here in terms of grammar, and to make it clear, as we saw in the very first slide I was saying, do not irritate the reviewer, try to avoid the murky thinking, and try to have a very clear writing, okay? So this is why this slide is here. So when it comes to writing, it's very common nowadays that we write collaboratively. If you want to know more about this, I invite you to click on this image. You'll be sent to Emerald's website, and you can download this infographic on how to collaborate on writing an article. Also, if you want to write more simply, there are here 6 steps to write more simply. I know that many people here who are in this session today will have English as their first language, but for the ones that speak Spanish or Portuguese, it might be a bit complicated to write in English because it's just another language. So if you want some tips here, you can click here and then go to Emerald's webpage where you'll find more information about it. Any questions at this point? It was a very short presentation, I know, with just 22 minutes, but maybe some of you will have some questions. So I wanted to ask you before passing the microphone to Guido, so he can show us the platform and show us some examples of Emerald article on emerald.com. Okay, thank you very much. Guido, I'll be passing the presentation to you. Let me see, Guido. All right. Guido, if you can hear me, I think you can present. Just let me know, please, if you can share your desktop or your presentation.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Can you all see my screen? Oh, I think you can. Okay, great. Well, thank you so much, Andre, for your very informative session on how to structure your paper. And we saw how important it is to adhere to the author guidelines as well regarding the structuring of the paper, because in the end, obviously, we want to be able to survive the peer review process, and you want to get your paper published. So, but we'll look at that a little later on. I'm Guido Smalleganger. I'm the Business Development Manager for the Caribbean region. And in the next few minutes, I will guide you through our award-winning platform, Emerald Insight. And I will share with you some tips and tricks on how to get the most out of it, and also how to view information about the journals specifically that you might actually be wanting to publish in. So for those of you, obviously most of us in these times, actually I hope that everybody's staying safe and healthy. In these times, everybody's accessing from home, most likely. In that case, Emerald Insights, you've been accessing it through your library website. So then if you click on the Emerald Insight on your library website, you'd see a welcome message at the top left. And that means that you've successfully authenticated to Emerald Insight. And with that, you are fine to navigate through the portal to do your basic and advanced searches on Emerald Insight. But if you want a more personal experience, then we recommend you creating a personal account. And that is done on the top right. There is a button, just let me log out my session. There's a button which says register. You just need to add there your name and your email address, and then you get a confirmation email that your account has been created. You go to your login, You add your email again, and then your password. And then you're fully connected again to Emerald Insight with at the top right. And this is the two options that you will see as a personalized user. The Save Searches button, there's a profile button. And then these other two buttons will show up as well, which I'll explain to you a little later on. So we're looking at the Emerald Insight landing page. So this is where we can perform basic searches and also advanced searches. So in this search box here, you can add a keyword, a combination of keywords, or even a phrase. And before that, I would also always recommend everybody to think very carefully about the keyword that you're going to use, because obviously the more specific you are, the better search results you will eventually get. So my search result will actually be a phrase. It will be sustainable business model. And as you can see, as I go typing along, the search box actually gives you recommendations and of titles that we carry as Emerald with the word sustainable business model, or sustainable in the title. But I'm just going to go ahead and look for an article. So just type your phrase in this case, click on the search button, and then it will show me the search results page with, in this case, over 44,000 results. That's quite a lot. And again, it's searched within all the content that I have available. And before that, it's just important to note that we as Emerald, we publish in many different formats. We publish in journals, ebooks, business cases, and also news analysis, which we call, showed it a little later on, it's called expert briefings. So my search result has been pretty much in all of the content. So on this page, you will see your search results, as I mentioned. When you see green marker, that means that you have full access to the full text of the article. This is the link and the title of the article itself. You've got your authors up here, and this is the introduction to the abstract that we can see right here. There's also some links. There's two links here which will take you to the online version and also to PDF, which is great also for offline reading. And at the top right, you can search, or you can filter also by relevance. Right? So you can either sort by relevance or newest to oldest or oldest to newest. Okay. If I click on this button here, View Summary and Detail, this will actually show me the abstract itself. And this is something that Andre touched on as well. So this is how you should, to a certain extent, model your abstract. So we've got the purpose, we've got your design methodology and approach, your findings, and your originality. And every journal obviously has its own author guidelines, but this is one of the more predominant ones, right? So you've got your abstract right there. And on the right-hand side, you've got more details about where the particular article is in. So this one's in the International Journal of Sociology. You've also got keywords which are related to this article. And on the right-hand side, this is where you can further refine the results. You can, and this is probably the most important one, the access, because again, we publish a lot of content in different formats, like I explained, but your institution might not have all the content that we publish. If you're lucky, they will subscribe all the content, but in any case, we always recommend you to click on this icon here, only content I have access to. So in that case, you're always sure that the results that will come up are actually results that you will have full text access to, okay? You can also further refine by the year and also the content type, okay? So this is the section of the search result page where you can further refine your results. So that's essentially how you perform a basic search. If I click on the title of this article, it will open up this page. And this page will show you obviously the authors of the publication, the journal where this paper was published in, the publication date, and below it again the abstract. And on the left-hand side, a nice index so you can easily navigate through the article as well. Okay? And on the right-hand side, we can view the related articles. So these are all related articles to this particular one. The first three are articles in other Emerald publications, and the bottom three articles are articles in other non-Emerald publications. So this is actually a very new feature that we have in Emerald Insight for those that haven't seen it yet. And it's a very handy one as well. If I click on this link, the Baltic Journal of Management, it will take me to the publication scheme page, and I'll show you that a little later on. Now, stepping up to the advanced search. At the top right, you see advanced search option, right? But you can also, at any given time, go back and click on the logo. And this logo will take you to the landing page where we began our basic search. And you might have already seen here at the bottom, below on the box, the advanced search option. So if I click on that section there, this will open up my advanced search query page. All right, so you can see that right from the start, you can select the kind of content that you want to look into. So if you're only interested in journal articles, you'd click obviously on the journal articles. And then here below, you have the different keyword or research term options. So where you can add your keyword. You can also use your Boolean operators. For those familiar with them, you can use and or not. You can also use wildcards if that is the case. And below that, you can filter further down by date range and also the access type. So if you're only interested in open access content, you click on that one. And we'll just leave it in all content because I want to get as many search results as possible in this case. All right, so let's perform a search on tourism and pandemic and global. So this is a combined search. You can either also filter each of these keywords further by field or by title, abstract, and so forth. And say I'm only interested in articles from 2019 to the present day. So click on your search. And voila, there we go. We've got 64 search results with that particular query. Again, with your article, in this case, it's a journal articles. It says it's journals. Below it says expert briefing, and this is the latest edition of content we've added to the Emerald collection portfolio. So these are news analysis. And on the right-hand side, obviously, you've got your refining options as well. So this is essentially how you perform your advanced search. So let me go ahead and click on the title. So this is, again, gives me information on the title itself, and this will this opens, as we can see, up the online full text version. If we scroll further down, of course, and if we click on the title of the journal, so this is the Journal of Tourism Futures, it will take me to the publication scheme page. On the left-hand side, you can scroll through all the volumes. You've also got your early sites, and these are articles that have passed the peer review process and are ready to be published, but actually haven't been published yet. But we at Emerald, we always strive to get your paper and your research out there as soon as possible. So that's why we still add them. So this is called early sites. All right. Let me just head back a little bit. I just wanted to show you that you can also, again, further refine. Let's say I only am interested in articles. Right. You can also do that. So I further refined my search down to 16 results. In this particular article here, Islands as Refuges for Surviving Global Catastrophes. Sounds like a very interesting article, publication there here. You see a very colorful donut. This is actually Altmetrics. For those of you not familiar with Altmetrics, Altmetrics essentially, they measure the conversations had about this particular article in the digital space on the internet. So it goes and looks at how many times that particular article has been mentioned, for example, in a news source, maybe on some social media accounts, on Twitter. Maybe the article has been mentioned in a public policy document or in Wikipedia. So that's what Altmetrics does. So they are actually complementary to the existing citation-based metrics, but this gives like a real-time idea of what the conversations are happening on the digital space about articles, right? So in this particular case, this was when cited, so to speak, once on Twitter, on a digital news outlet as well, and even on Mendeley. So it also records the conversations of articles on research platforms like Mendeley as well. Okay. So just let me head back into the title. So we went into the publication scheme, and on the right-hand side, we've got some more information about the particular journal. So it's when it started to get published in 1999, and here on the right-hand side, you've got a link which will take you to information about the journal. Now this link is not going to work right now because we just, yesterday actually, we launched a new corporate website. So all this information links directly to our corporate website, and for some reason it's down, but they're working on to get it back up again. So I'm just going to share with you a PowerPoint presentation slide that I had about this. So up here on the screen again, we have the search results. And I just want to show you what happens if you click on the title. Again, it will take you to the publication scheme. And on the right-hand side, you'd have the information about the journal. And this is the page that will show up, and this is very interesting for you. They're interested in knowing more about this particular journal. This is where you can find information on the citations of the particular journal. It also shows you a bit of an idea of what this journal is about, what the scope is of the journal, and also the author guidelines. And that's a very important section, which also ties into what Andre's been talking about how to structure your paper. So you've got your process of how to submit to the journal. And on the right-hand side, you've also got your technicalities about what the paper needs to what it needs to adhere to. Okay, so let me switch now back to the web page itself. We're here on the corporate website, and on the corporate website we also have a section which is called services about everything related for you as an author. So we've got information about how to publish with Emerald. You can also find a journal. Just let me click on that link. Hopefully, oh, it didn't work. Whoops. That should be up and running as well shortly. But we've got information about our open access portal as well. So if you have a mandate from your institution to publish in open access, you're free to more than welcome to work with us as well. We've got author how-to guides, manuscript services. So it's actually a service which helps you in the technical process of your writing. So it helps you with the editing, with the graphs and the images and so forth. So we'll definitely recommend you to take a look at this section as well within the Emerald site about the author services that we offer. So let me just head back then to the Emerald Insight page itself. So as I mentioned on the top right, as a signed-in personal user, you've got your saved searches button. Then also you've got your My Profile and My Products. So like I said at the beginning, with Emerald, we publish journals, ebooks, case studies, and news briefings. If you're unsure what your institution subscribes, you can go ahead and click on this button, My Products. As I also have a company access, I have access to everything. So if you just normally we'll just see a list of all the collections that your institution subscribes to. And if you click on those, you get a breakdown by collection and also by journal. So that's also a great way to search for content that you're looking for. Another option here at the top right is the Explore Our Content. So this will lead you to the entire portfolio that we offer as Emerald. Again, if you click on journals, it will give you a whole listing of all the journals that we currently offer. We've got your books, and also we've got the case studies. And I just want to pause there for a little bit. So with Emerald, we also publish case studies, hundreds of case studies. We have grouped them in various, one big collection, which is called the eCase collection. There's the Emerging Market Case Studies collection, which is very popular and has a lot of business cases, especially from countries with emerging economies. And this is a great way to actually start your search within that particular case collection as well, right? So you can do your searches right from the start from this particular page. If you go back to Explore Our Content, you've got your expert briefings. So these are the news analysis. This is the latest product group that we've added to Emerald. So these are news analysis of geopolitical and macroeconomical events happening around the world. And on a daily basis, we provide these analysis to you. So it puts world events pretty much into context. So that is also available, but then again, it depends if your institution has access to that. And then finally, we've got our open access links, which will take us to our open access portal with more information on how to publish there. To finalize, at the bottom section, the bottom left section, you've got a feedback button. So Emerald Insight has been launched a little less than a year ago. So this new platform that we're looking at. So if you want to share your feedback with us on the platform, things that you might miss, suggestions, you can always share the feedback there with us. And then finally, we've also got a platform update page, which is a link which will take you to a site which hopefully is working. Not entirely, but actually it's a section within the Emerald website where you can view user guides, tutorials, and so forth. So that's also a very interesting section to view any updates as well on the Emerald Insight platform itself. So that was roughly what I wanted to share with you about Emerald Insight, about the platform. So I'm not sure if there's any questions at this point, either for myself about Emerald Insight and the way it works, or maybe for Andre.
Hi, Guido. Can you hear me?
Yes, Andre, I can hear you.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I wanted to upload the first presentation about peer review so the colleagues can download today's presentation, but also last week's presentation. Let me try to do that. Then I'll the peer review in English. Okay, all right. So if you look here where the red dot is, there's an arrow. If you click here, you can download last week's presentation about peer review. So we have the full content from last week and today's session. And next week, we will have another one about why some articles are rejected. And as Guido was saying, if any of you have any questions to us, we'll be very happy to answer. I can see some people typing in the chat window. Also, I want to take this opportunity to thank the presence of some colleagues from Trinidad and Tobago. Ben Peace, Joshua. Thank you very much. Just
right, I'm not sure, everybody, if there's any further questions, you can always type them, or you can reach out to us as well.
Yeah, I thought someone was typing, but not sure. Okay, so Guido, I don't have anything to add.
There's one question from Editonet Garcia. She's asking, I had an article approved for publication. I had problem with the final corrections.
Okay, Editonet, was that an Emerald article? I think so, right? Okay, if you could please send me the last email you have, I'll do my best to try to help you, if that's okay, because I'll talk to the publisher that leads the journal, and then they will probably talk to production and try to make those changes for you. Thank you, Guido. I didn't see the question. It was just at the very bottom here of the chat window.
And then we have another question coming in from Alberta Joseph Alexander. She asks, what did you say about a red dot on the slide? Maybe a red dot that you mentioned, Andre, in your presentation?
Oh, sorry about that. It's here, right? The red dot on the left-hand side. It's just to point out the arrow for you to download the presentation. So if you click on the arrow, you'll be able to download the presentation. Okay? Obrigado a você. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, everybody, for participating in today's webinar. Again, it's recorded, and we look forward to any questions that you might have. And we're really sorry about the little glitch there on the Emerald publishing our new website, which looks really beautiful, really slick, but just literally 10 minutes before this presentation, it just slipped. There's a technicality there, but I'm sure it's up very soon. The Emerald Insight platform, the search platform, is working fine. So yeah, we'll notify you when everything is up and running again.
Thank you, Guido. Thank you, Tutila. Thank you, everyone, for your presence.
Thanks so much, everyone. You have a great day and stay safe, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.